Always a crowd pleaser, that song. Always a
Yes.
crowd. You know that song. You know which one we're talking about, don't you?
It plays every time in there.
The Rolling Stones.
Oh, that's the Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
Never.
Oh, Ben is Ben is Ben is music. You are the music director here at WICR, and you never heard of the Rolling Stones?
No, I heard of the Rolling Stones.
No.
I didn't know that song was by the Rolling
I'm playing
Stones.
around. Ben knows more music than I'll ever know, but he knows sort of different genres.
Oh yeah, that was funny. Anthony texted me over the All Star
Yeah.
game. It's like, yo, what song is this? I think it's by Lil Wayne. It was 0 to 100 by Drake. It's close. You were close, Anthony.
You know what I don't understand with that song is that it doesn't sound like the normal Drake. But I don't know anything about
Yeah.
rap, so I can't.
You just like a good melody.
The Drake songs I have on my music on my iTunes, I think were his more mellow songs.
Okay.
So correct me if I'm wrong. He sounds a little different when he's singing 0 to 100
Then
compared to his more relaxed songs.
yes.
His voice kind of changes. So I was thinking, wow, is that Lil Wayne? I don't know who that is. So I tried Shazamming it, but the problem is the NBA All-Star Game only had a portion
A
of the
snippet.
and it was an instrumental portion. There was no words. So every time I put my Shazam up there, it came back with 2015 NBA All-Star Game. So I was like, wow, this thing has gotten real
technical.
in depth.
It knows
technical.
it knows the channel
But
that you are on.
Yeah, so I had to go to the next best thing besides Shazam, Benzino.
Mhm.
And he told me right away. Anyway, let's move on to a little baseball. We have the baseball season quickly approaching, and I cannot wait. And we have some things. We discussed A-Rod in previous weeks a little bit, and we talked about his apology, but Alex Rodriguez has formally now done his, I guess, what could you say, his third formal apology, third formal big apology, and he didn't want to do it at Yankee Stadium because
He'll get booed. He'll get booed.
I think he'll get booed either way.
Yeah.
When he comes back. But he said in his apology, and now he wrote a handwritten letter to the fans.
Okay.
He addressed it to the fans. I accept the fact that many of you will not believe my apology or anything that I say at this point. I understand why, and that's on me. It was gracious of the Yankees to offer me the use of Yankee Stadium for this apology, but I decided the next time I am in Yankee Stadium, I should be in pinstripes doing my job. What do you think about that?
At the end of the day, he gets paid for something. He gets paid to hit the ball. He gets paid to catch the ball, step on a bag, bring in some RBIs. But for this apology, he's a man at the end of the day before he's a baseball player. So if it's his third time apologizing, and basically it's like the teacher telling me, yo, say sorry so we can move on.
Yeah.
So is it sincere? I do not know.
Yeah.
Because it's third time saying, I'm sorry.
And I talked to you about this, and my point of view, Ben, I really don't care if it's sincere anymore. When you get bitter, when you get bitter and you've been crossed a certain amount of times, it becomes, all right, forget the affection, forget the relationship between us. Let's get down to the business. What are you going to do for me, and what am I going to do for you? And right now, Alex Rodriguez is still on contract, still getting paid. So I really don't care what he has to say about what he did and why he's sorry and whether we believe him or not. What I care is whether he can come back onto this team and produce for this team. Because if we're paying him $20 million a year, and if he was originally on a $30 million contract, and after all the incentives, he's probably going to get paid this year after he beats Willie Mays in the home run race and whoever he may surpass, the only thing I care about is if you're getting paid that money, produce for that money.
Yes.
Okay, this apology, this crap, I really don't care. I don't care about his handwritten letter. I don't care about any of that. And I'll tell you one thing. I'm not an A-Rod hater. I'm going to enjoy seeing him come back because I want to be excited. And I feel like this is going to be a boring team right now, and A-Rod will bring a little bit of excitement. Whether it's controversial excitement, that'll be debated. But that's my point of view. I just want to see him. I'm more concerned about what he can do rather than what he feels after he hurt the team for a year.
Now, Anthony, staying on the Yankee topic, if we could talk about how Andy Pettitte and Jorge Posada
and Bernie Williams
are they getting their numbers retired, or I heard only two of them going to get retired, but Pettitte's going to get a plaque.
Well, that's a little technical now. Let's find that out. Now, what happened is
that the core four of this Yankee run was surrounded by Derek Jeter, which we know he's gonna get his number retired. It's Derek Jeter, but Andy Pettitte, big contributor pitching for the postseason for the Yanks. Bernie Williams, a tremendous outfielder and got the key hit when you need to. And Jorge Posada, the man behind the plate.
Yeah, and those are, as you said, members of the core four, and that's a reason why people out there are sort of, I guess, advocating for their numbers to be retired. But the Yankees announced on Monday that they will retire the uniform numbers of Williams, Posada, and Pettitte in pregame ceremonies at Yankee Stadium this season. And in addition to that, Willie Randolph, a member of the Yankees, he played for them in the 70s,
Yep.
and
Second base.
Yeah, he will be honored with a plaque in Monument Park.
Okay.
So all three of those guys will have their numbers retired. Willie Randolph will be honored with the plaque. So let me ask you this, Ben. We look at the majority of monuments in Monument Park, and a lot of them have gone on to the Hall of Fame. And I was just talking about this to Ian Sachs before I came on, and he brought up Paul O'Neill, as one of those players that is not in the Hall but had his plaque retired, his plaque put in Monument Park. So, debating this, let's discuss whether I think those players, Posada, Williams, and Pettitte, did enough, I guess, through their stint with the Yankees to be retired in Monument Park.
So 3 years of championship by Pettitte, Posada, and Bernie. Three championships they were a part of.
They were a part of the five Yankees championships.
5.
Yeah.
So when you're the contributing factor,
No, I'm sorry. You know what? It's different for each of them. So
Pettitte got the most because he was on the roster, right?
Posada had won 4 championships.
4.
And then you have Pettitte, I believe Pettitte.
He wasn't on the roster in 09?
Pettitte had won 5, yeah, as Ian points out.
Okay.
Pettitte won 5 with the team because of that 09 World Series. That was his 5th. Posada had already retired at that point. No, it's 5 for Posada too? All right, so he wasn't retired. Posada was the catcher on that team, so 5 for both. And Bernie Williams was the one who had 4. Okay, we're wrong with our numbers. We need a statistician over here.
Thank you, Sachs.
Ian Sachs is giving us all our stats for this. So you think about their numbers, and first of all, Bernie Williams, right? 297 average in 2,076 games. He's 5th in the franchise with 2,336 hits, and he is the club leader with 22 postseason home runs and 80 postseason RBIs. So if you look at those numbers, there is no reason why Bernie Williams shouldn't be retired in Monument Park. Now, if you're going to bring that debate whether or not he should be in the Hall one day, there's no question about it. Bernie Williams' numbers are not good enough for the Hall of Fame. And we've had recent discussions about this, notably with guys like Craig Biggio, who recently got inducted into the Hall of Fame. In other words, if you put Biggio in, it makes it a little more understandable on whether or not some of these guys would be considered for the Hall.
Yes.
I still don't think that Bernie, though, really has the numbers, because when you go to the Hall, you need a certain set of numbers, and those numbers are usually 3,000 hits, or 500 home runs, or a crazy batting average, or 300 or more batting average. And usually when it goes by not even the batting average, it goes by the amount of career hits, the amount of career home runs. Of recent times with Craig Biggio, apparently the amount of career doubles.
Yes.
Even though he had 3,000 hits, I think it was a stretched out sort of 3,000. So Bernie Williams, I think, has the numbers to be retired as one of the greatest Yankees ever. I do really think that, because I think that his time during the Yankees, championship reign of 4 championships, and what he did for that in the middle of that lineup year after year, as you see, his postseason numbers were outstanding for the Yankees. He was one of those players that in modern day times you can consider a Yankee hero, a Yankee legend of modern day times.
I think that he would rather be retired as a Yankee with the Yankees instead of the Hall of Fame, even though it's a player's dream to be in the Hall of Fame. But when you're in the best class organization of all sports, most championships in all sports, the Yankees, that's in their separate category of that. The players of Babe Ruth, Mickey Mantle, and your numbers retired with the Yankees.
Yeah.
That's illustrious company.
No, it is. And I think that there's a special, I agree with you, and I guess I feel also that there's a special, as you said, it's everybody's dream. It's every player's dream to be in the Hall. But I think there is a special sort of connection with that and what a player feels that when they do or if they do get inducted. But in terms of being retired, having your number retired in one, as you said, of the most prestigious organizations in all of sports, you definitely have to feel, you have to feel privileged to be like that. Now, Jorge Posada played his entire 17-year career with the Yankees. He hit .273 in 1,829 games, and he is second all time with 125 postseason games. Posada doesn't have, I guess, as illustrious of a final stat book as Bernie Williams. Bernie, you compare him, he has the most home runs in postseason history and most RBIs. So that's something to gloat about.
Yes.
Jorge doesn't. When you talk about Jorge, what comes to mind is somebody who was the core, part of the core four, obviously, but an anchor on that team.
He manned behind the plate for all these pitchers.
Exactly.
It was Jorge Posada's job. Get them calm when they need to. Throw that pitch. Let's get out of here and win rings.
I couldn't say it any better. That was Jorge. That's what he did. That was Jorge. He was your unsung hero. He was your leader. He was, when Derek Jeter was leading the team through all of these championships, Jorge was your unsung leader. He wasn't, he wasn't out there as the face of the franchise, but yet I don't believe it could have been done without him.
Mm-hmm.
He was the anchor behind that plate. He was a, fiery player who sometimes didn't get along with pitchers, but he really brought together good pitching staffs.
Yes.
I mean, he was the anchor behind that plate. He was a part of 5 championship teams. And when you say his name, I don't think that he has the numbers to back up all the glitz and glam. But I do believe that just as Thurman Munson served as that anchor for the Yankees before he was tragically killed, Jorge Posada is, if not on the same playing field as Munson, a similar playing field, and should be, for that reason, retired in Monument Park.
And when for Yankee, I like about how all the core four,
right?
Each fan resonates with each player.
Right.
You like Bernie Williams for something else. You like Posada. You like Petty. You like Jeter. And when you hear Jorge Posada's name, what are the 2 words you think of?
Georgie Juice one? That's 3 words.
No, no. The same word, but twice. The same word, but twice.
What do I think of when I hear Jorge Posada?
The same Jorge, same word 2 times.
Jorge?
Hip.
Oh, hip,
Hip,
Jorge! I forgot all about that.
Yeah, man.
That was ESPN. They did that.
Oh, yeah, they did a commercial.
And then the Yankee fans.
Bleacher Creatures, yep.
Yeah, how could you not retire a player who had hip, hip, hooray as his thing? So, yeah, I agree with that. And I think that, lastly, Andy Pettitte. Andy Pettitte, he was named to the Mitchell Report in 2007 for steroid use, using HGH. He admitted to that and said that the reason why he did it was not to enhance any play on the field.
Was it for his injury reason?
And he says it was for his injury reason. Now, Ben laughs, and I'm sure a lot of people laugh because that was their excuse for why they used steroids when they did, or HGH. So, moving on to his numbers. First of all, my opinion on that is, it's a very tiring subject. Okay? If a player has taken steroids, whether it be HGH, whether it be a cream, whether it be something to get over an injury, the fact is they still use steroids.
Yes.
And it gets swept up into this big cloud, and this cloud obviously really set in with Mike Piazza this year, not being inducted to the Hall of Fame because he played during an era when most of the players were using steroids. Is that fair? I don't believe it is at all. And I think that it's not fair if a player really did use the HGH for healing intentions. But here's the truth. We will never know that.
Yes.
No matter what they say, no matter what they do, they were still using something illegal during a time when players were successful using illegal substances.
Now, the thing with Pettitte is he admitted as soon as he got called out, he was like, yeah, I did it. I'm sorry. And then he got the clear. He got the green light to come back.
Yeah.
Or is it yellow? When you mention Eddie Pettitte, I think it's yellow.
You know what? For Andy, I think you'd say it's yellow. I wouldn't say that it's red. I mean, his career numbers 256 and 153. So he didn't win 300 games, and that's usually for a pitcher the mark of getting into the Hall of Fame. He had an overall 3.85 ERA, and he won more games than any else in playoff history. 19 games. His postseason ERA is 3.81 in 276 and 2 1/3 innings. So Pettit's the winningest pitcher in Yankee history in the postseason.
Yes.
Just like Bernie Williams led the team in the postseason with home runs and RBIs, Andy Pettitte has led them with postseason victories. For that reason, he should be retired at Monument Park. I mean, there's no reason why he shouldn't be retired. A member of the Core Four. Now, if you talk to him in relation to the Hall of Fame, I don't think so.
Nah.
Because
not
only with the steroid thing, the HGH cream he used, whatever he had used to get over his injury, but his numbers are not necessarily Hall of Fame caliber. And they're very close. To be honest, they're borderline.
Mm-hmm.
Just like Mike Mussina.
You can make an argument.
Yeah, you can make an argument. Mussina never won 300 games, but he is borderline. And Mussina only had one 20-win season. But for Pettitte, I think that you could make an argument for him to be in the Hall of Fame, but I don't think he ever will be. And I think that for his monument, though, to be in Monument Park, I think there is justification for retiring his number.
Now, with Willie Randolph, he was resignated. I think he's still around the organization. Even though he coached for the Mets, he's still around the Yankee organization, which I like around Willie Randolph. And in the 70s, he did his thing.
And he's looking to come back. They're looking to find a coaching spot for him back this year. Yeah. They're looking to put him...
not at not third base coach. That's locked.
No. Yeah, with Robbie Thompson. I think maybe... I don't know what exactly they're going to look to find him for a spot for, but he will be... They're talking to him about coming back as a coach.
That's good to hear.
So, when it's all said and done, the final I guess statement on the debate is whether or not Monument Park and getting your number retired and having a plaque is equivalent to Hall of Fame numbers.
Only for the Yankees, because if you're a Diamondback,
right?
It's not the same thing. Getting you, it's nice that you did your thing for the Diamondbacks. You got in the Hall of Fame and you got but it's the Diamondbacks,
right?
They're not the Yankees, even though they did beat the Yankees.
They did
in the series.
It's funny you bring them up because they did beat them.
But they're the Diamondbacks. The Yankees are the Yankees.
Right.
Different categories.
It's different category, and I think that one thing that has to be said is that Hall of Fame numbers definitely make it easier for a player to be retired in Monument Park, but it's not the only requirement because there are players in Monument Park that don't have Hall of Fame numbers, hence all three now that we just mentioned. And if you go back in the history of things, there have been certain players that haven't had that Hall of Fame induction, but each one of them had numbers that were borderline Hall of Fame.
Borderline.
And also they had outstanding numbers as Yankees.
Yes.
And set records in Yankee history. And if you can do that and be called a member of the Core Four, hence the modern-day Yankee legends.
You're valid.
Yeah, you're valid. I mean, you have to be in there.
So, Anthony, to wrap up this show, do that. We just finished a monumental conversation about the Core Four. See what I did there? And so since this end of the show, last words about this: Carmelo Anthony is out for the season, 4 to 6 months with his knee. He's going to get that fixed. They made something about the All-Star game. It's an exhibition. The man took 25 shots. He'll do that in the game anyway. Light jog, but the Knicks will be looking forward to be playing on Friday. New York Knicks basketball, because we got to dip Anthony, because Chelsea got to do a show.
That's Benzino the Hero. We got Chelsea coming on next.
Yeah.
And she is in the station ready.
She went in Brooklyn again? Come on, son. Come on. Why she got to come on next now?
Oh, man. Benzino the Hero. Anthony Carlo. AB Conversation. Catch us at our normal time, right? We've been
Tuesdays at 6:30.
We've been switching back and forth. Tuesdays at 6:30 next week. Everybody, please have a pleasant week.
Listening to WICR, Iona College Radio.